So good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking time out of your busy JNOC schedule to join us this morning. My name is Yanis Valles. I am Services and Solutions Business Development Manager with Insight. We're very happy to have you join us this morning, and if you haven't done so already, please be sure to stop by our booth. We'd love to see you, talk to you more. And on behalf of our team, I want to thank you for joining us again. So let me start by sharing a little bit about myself. So I'm a big movie buff, like some of you out there. I enjoy the simple things in life. So my first thought after I was asked to present at JNOC was, Yanni, here's your moment, right? So conveniently, I had just watched Space Jam in one of my recent flights. So I'm like, that's it, that's my calling. So I'm like, I'm going to kick things off with a clip of the movie Space Jam. I know what some of you might be thinking, but hear me out here. So in my head, I had it all worked out. So my title was going to be Space Jams. And it was going to be all about how our services and how our solutions are really out of this world. So you're probably thinking, what an awesome idea, right? Well, I brought it to our marketing team, and they're like, well, we have some other ideas. It mentioned something about copyright. I'm like, so we had some creative differences, and here we are. My clip, we can't even show it. But in all seriousness, we're going to try to keep things light. We're going to try to keep things lively for you. We're going to have a good time this morning. I know that for some of you, it's a little bit earlier. Maybe for a lot of you, you haven't had enough coffee this morning. So we're going to try to keep things fun for you guys. So I'm going to start off with telling you a little about who we are. And then I'm going to phone in a friend who is not sitting very far from me to tell you a little bit about our managed services and our full-scale capabilities at Insight. And then we're going to close things off with a little story time. I mean, what better way, right? So while I do see some of you that are very familiar, maybe with Insight or some familiar faces, I do see some people in the crowd that are new friends joining us today. So I figure I'll use the opportunity to tell you a little bit about who we are at Insight, how far we've come as an organization over the years. So we're a publicly traded Fortune 500 company that were founded by Tim and Eric Crown back in 1988 in Phoenix, Arizona. Back then, we went by a different name. We were known as Hard Drives International. And as you might have guessed it, we were pretty much selling storage solutions. And back then, we got the international part right because we had big ambitions to grow as an organization, but we're a mail-order business mainly. So today, we have transformed ourselves into a global business, a global solutions integrator with well over 11,000 employees, with, if I might say, about 1/3 of those employees is actually highly skilled IT professionals, either as solutions engineers, solutions architects, systems engineers, and we have resources spanning across 72 sites worldwide that we support. As with most organizations, we're continuously looking for ways to grow and, of course, evolve, with the main goal to better be able to serve the needs of our clients. So we began our journey as a reseller, just a standard corporate reseller, and sort of stayed in that space for nearly 2 decades. It's within the last 10 to 15 years that we've really kind of stepped up our game to continue evolving and become a full-scale solutions integrator that could also act as a reseller to help you get anything you need to be able to run your business, that being hardware, software, or services. And speaking about things that you might need to be able to run your business, I mean, here's how we got you covered, right? The message here is simple. Anyone can resell you a Mac or an iPhone or an iPad, or even your Jamf licenses. But our focus at Insight has always been to helping our customers with with a full stack of comprehensive solutions end to end. So we truly try to be there for you for that every step of that journey, from a readiness review to really trying to help you understand and really dig deeper about what your IT posture looks like, to helping you with streamlining and modernizing your procurement, your deployment, your management, and even how you service some of the assets that you have, right? So when it comes to also, time to maybe retire some of those assets, either that being your Apple assets or non-Apple assets, we can actually help you with that as well. We got you covered with our end-of-life support and reclamation services, as well as assist with anything that has to do with a full device, and from a refresh to an upgrade of your entire fleet. So as a matter of fact, as we've been doing this for all these years, we try to look very carefully about lessons that we've learned through the process and really kind of extrapolate best practices and really take this, these motions and incorporate them into a single kind of comprehensive offering that we call Device as a Service. Some of the cool kids might refer to it as DaaS. It's the same thing. So back in April of this year, actually, we introduced two brand new offerings. So DaaS Lifecycle and DaaS Complete. Now, DaaS Lifecycle truly incorporates all the elements of these best practices that we kind of developed over the years working with our clients, and really takes these operational workflows and kind of streamlines them into a single prescribed service. And of course, with DaaS Complete, it takes this and kind of builds upon it by incorporating managed endpoint services. So you can kind of really set it and forget it, or free up bandwidth of your resources to focus on other priorities that you're working on. And God knows, everyone is fully tapped out and really working on so many different projects and different deliverables that you have to deliver. So if you're intrigued a little bit about our DaaS offering and you want to know more about what it is, I would invite you to please come join us at our booth. We can have a little bit of a more in-depth discussion of the offering and really provide you with some collateral and a little bit of a better idea of how the program works. But it's a very comprehensive and very compelling offering that we've introduced for our clients. And of course, we really wouldn't be able to kind of roll out all these exciting and unique offerings if it wasn't for our commitment to excellence, but also the relationships that we have with our partners, right? This is just sort of like a glimpse that I try to put together of where we stand on our partnership and the relationships that we have with not just Apple, but also Jamf. So the one key that I want to call your attention to is the fact that Insight has been a top-tier Apple corporate reseller for almost over a decade at this point. And we've done really well in that space. We were even authorized as a service provider with Apple. But as of last year, Insight has also been recognized and accredited by Apple as a managed service provider as well as a solutions integrator, which currently, and I'll take the opportunity to brag a little bit here, currently makes us still the first and only corporate reseller to hold those kind of accolades and those accreditations all simultaneously. So it's something that we are very proud of, and we try to share with our clients to show the level of commitment that we have not only to our partners, but most importantly to you guys, our clients. And it sort of speaks volumes to, of that commitment. So, and speaking of, services and solutions that we're able to help you with, I would like to take the opportunity to phone in my friend who is not very far, Chris Huff, who oversees our managed endpoint services practice here at Insight. So, Chris.
Thank you. All right, guys, just bear with me here. There we go. As Jonas said, I'm Chris Huff. I'm the best phone a friend up here. So that's what he gets, right? I do have the privilege of managing Insight's managed endpoint team. My team comprises of over 20 different engineers. And the best part is they have me as a boss. So, what's better than that, right? Our company recently was recognized as an Apple managed service provider, and we currently manage over 23,700 plus Apple devices, mainly in Jamf. The slide showcases our robust portfolio of managed service offerings and highlights a few of them in action. It's noteworthy that we're a Jamf Enterprise Gold level partner. With this expertise, we're fully equipped to handle our clients' digital transformation projects, offering strategic guidance and scalable capabilities to envision, build, deploy, and maintain IT solutions. This clicker hates me, guys. All right, there we go. This is my favorite slide, probably because this is managed endpoint, right? This one is truly one of our core offerings. Managed endpoint is a comprehensive professional and managed service. We provide modern, cost-effective approach to the implementation, administration, and support of our new existing endpoint management solutions. By the way, guys, it took me 2 hours to get that whole thing right. The expected outcome of this offering is helping our clients manage devices throughout change while providing a consistent experience for both end users and IT admins. So under this comprehensive service, we provide our clients with an evaluation of their current MDM management environment, an MDM health check, right? We also do an implementation configuration of a cloud-based endpoint management instance, setting it up as new. Migration from a legacy on-prem infrastructure. Hopefully we don't see very many of those anymore. Expert ongoing administration of the environment, reporting and roadmap development, as well as my favorite, admin-to-admin level support. At Insight, we pride ourselves providing excellent support to our diverse customer base, some of whom are on-premise, while others are cloud-hosted. We have successfully transitioned customers from on-premise to a modern management environment, leveraging the expertise of my staff who are Jamf 300 certified and higher. Our team works closely with customer admins, building a collaborative relationship to ensure successful outcomes. As part of this collaboration, we have an in-depth knowledge of the Jamf suite of products, which we discuss with the customer at our yearly technology review. Furthermore, our strong relationship with Apple means that our engineers have a thorough understanding of their ecosystem. We are currently managing, like I said, over 20K in iOS devices and 4,300 in macOS, using standardized processes and governance to ensure consistency across our customer base. Our team can develop straightforward applications, as well as more complex solutions, depending on the needs of the client. We have helped customers with limited experience in managing Apple devices through Jamf by streamlining their configuration, resulting in a smooth transition with minimum to no downtime. Now, we have a customer present today. They're going to speak to you on our team's accomplishments, and their impact. So I would like to invite Audrey and Josh to the conversation to showcase one of our solutions with Cribmaster, Jamf, and Apple devices.
Just gonna step away to make room for you guys.
All right, do you guys want to give a quick introduction?
So hello, I'm Joshua Rood. I'm a pre-sales technology lead on the Apple product team here at Insight.
Hey everyone, my name is Audrey Vandy Castle. I am the Director of Digital Transformation for Stanley Black & Decker. I'm excited to talk to you a little bit today about our fun solution that we've built for our factories.
All right, well, let's talk about the GoGo Gadget project. Could you share with us what it is, and of course, what is this initiative, and why was it so important for the Stanley Black & Decker team?
Sure, yeah. So GoGo Gadget is our fun project name. If we wanted to give it a more serious name, Mobile Devices and Operations. And my team deploys software onto our plant floors, right? We found really quickly that we needed to provide for a way for our hourly employees especially to be able to access this software if we wanted people to actually use it, right? And we have a legacy of a couple of years before we started this project, our internal IT teams having pretty bad failed deployments of tablets into these facilities. Typically they were Android tablets, boo, right? And they didn't work very well for the needs. People couldn't update them. You couldn't get in touch with IT, right? And so we really saw that there was an opportunity for us to establish some best practices around devices, deployments, and management for this population especially. So that was really the inspiration of it is, hey, we need to be able to provide people access to these iPads. And when we were looking for a solution, we actually realized one of our brands, Cribmaster, had a product that was kind of designed for this already, right? So we were able to take that product, which is called the DevLock. It's down in the exhibition hall if you want to check it out, and add a little bit of fun additions to it, including a Cambrionics hub in the back, to make it a little bit smarter and to be able to support an iPad deployment into our facilities.
All right, what are the components of the Cribmaster shared iPad solution?
Yeah, so as I spoke about, we have the Cambrionics hub in the back. We also have a Mac Mini inside of the DevLock as well. And inside each of the bays, there are charging ports and USB ports. So we're able to actually configure these devices remotely. We're able to trigger setup and reset in Jamf with these devices, and really streamline and kind of remove the extra IT support from our employees' purview by using the setup and reset workflow within the device lockers themselves. So we can put all different types of things in there. We typically kit them with iPads. We also usually put 1 or 2 iPhones in there as well to be able to provide access to a filming device for some of the solutions that my team deploys.
Excellent. This is going to be my favorite question. Did you run into any issues or challenges along the way, Josh and Audrey?
Yes. You want to talk about some?
Okay. So, what is it? Maybe 2 years ago, right before COVID, or start of it, or right beginning. So we were meeting and going through things, and Insight was brought in, and we were talking with Audrey and Frank, not Frank, and another Bree, and going through, and the IT were all there, and they're trying to get through this, and we come in, and we're just like, we pitch our managed Jamf solution to them. We're gonna do this, and we're talking about it. And Audrey's like, yeah, okay, and the other coworker Bree's like, yeah. And then IT kind of is like, well, we use Workspace ONE, and we want to do it this way. And we're like, okay. So we helped them with a lot of the other logistics, with some of the Cambrionics pieces and the providing the iPads and a lot of those things. And then as it was going through the year, I would just get emails from our little things would just like come up. It's like, how do we do this in Workspace ONE? I'm like, well, you can't. You got to do it. And then all these other little things were and they just built up. Over the year, they just built up. And then finally, Audrey's like, no, we're getting rid of Workspace ONE. We're bringing it. We're going to Jamf. We're doing managed. And actually, the IT guys were like happy to get it off their plate. They were like, oh, I don't have to do this anymore. So, it took about a year of going through the issues and challenges to really get to where we're at today. So a little bit of growing pains, but now everything's going, and then doing a lot more stuff.
I'll talk Another one of the challenges that we saw is that we've got this solution. By the end of this year, we'll be in a little more than 30 of our facilities, mostly on this continent. And being able to control and push the right suite of applications to these devices, if we had to go through our IT department and Workspace ONE, it just didn't happen in, number one, the time frame that we needed it to, with like the care and the understanding for the population that we needed it to, right? And so for us, that kind of the way that we can actually configure our devices to meet the exact needs of that facility ourselves through Jamf and through our partners at Insight have been really powerful for the success and the adoption of the software solutions that we're deploying into the sites.
Fantastic. Now, why did you select partnering with Insight for the GoGoGadget project?
Well, so like I said, it was a long process. So we were helping them. Insight's been involved with Stanley in lots of areas, not just this. So we sell all their Apples, all their Macs, all their Intel machines, and all those different things, and some of the wireless stuff. You know, we sell everything. So they were involved there in a lot of different places. So it was kind of just like a natural progression for them to move into ours. And then one of the things that Audrey likes that we do is our client-owned inventory. So they were getting stuff shipped directly in phases of different hardware and stuff. Like, well, iPads might show up today, and then the locker might show up next week or something like that. So having it staged at our warehouses before it shows up, and then we can pre-provision those devices before they even show up on site. So we do a lot of those pre-provisioning workflows for them. So when they have a site ready, they've bought the locker, they've bought the iPads, they've bought the Macs. They're sitting in our warehouse ready to go. So that, okay, let's start up this warehouse or this another one, and then we just ship it all out to them, and it's all ready to go. And they don't have to worry about bringing somebody on site as much. Because some of the initial ones, we were actually sending a guy on site to help set them all up, and but those were the pilot versions. But as we documented everything and had it all written down, and as they continue to grow, I think, and Frank's in here, and he's rewired some of the cabinets, and so now we have a new worksheet that we have to use. So it's just improving over time, but we're helping them with that process.
Yeah, so I mean, Insight was already in our vendor ecosystem, right? Which, if any of you work for giant companies, that in itself is a hurdle, right? Getting somebody in the system, right? So we are already working with Insight, and one of the things that we are struggling with is if you've ever done a remote deployment of any device, honestly, how do people find ways to break these things in the ways that they do, right? We had people logging into their personal iCloud accounts to set up the iPads because they were so excited that they got there, right? And so we really needed to be able to provide our customers, right, with an out-of-the-box solution that just worked for them, right? So by partnering with Insight to have client-owned inventory so we can make sure that you don't get your iPad and your case 3 weeks apart, right? We also use their lab services to kit these things. So these iPads show up to the facility in a case, already configured, and able to connect to the Wi-Fi network, right? Which the fact that you can provide this to your customer, they can take it out of the shipping box and immediately start using it, maybe after they charge it, has been really huge for us because it really streamlines our deployments and makes it easier for folks to feel more comfortable to start working with technology, especially on some of our sites that maybe aren't very tech forward. It can be really challenging or daunting to kind of adopt a new digital way of working, right? So we really are striving to eliminate any of those kind of hurdles to adoption. And by partnering with the managed services and with their kitting and client-owned inventory, we've really been able to streamline that. It's been pretty great.
Awesome to hear. Now, this last question is very self-serving for me. How has Insight's managed endpoint team helped Stanley Black & Decker make this a success?
I mean, I think some of the things that we spoke about, right? I think the fact that we can automatically connect to the network, and we have a session later today where we talk a little bit more about our solution in more detail, and you can hear Frank talk about it a little bit more, but we basically can catch the IP address and automatically assign apps to it because of that, right? So there's a lot of really cool techie things that we get into by being able to work with Jamf and the Insight Managed Endpoint Services team.
Excellent.
I don't know if you want to talk any more about that, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, it's just having the managed endpoint team there just to offload the day-to-day things for them of managing the device. It just allows them to go and innovate more and look at the other new stuff and then say, hey, I like to do this, and then bounce it off Chris's teams like, hey, we want to be able to do this, and they're like, yeah, we can do that, or no, we should really do it this way. So that kind of really helps with their project, lets them get the work in front of, get down to the workers and help them make their productive days, so you guys aren't like, they're not held up with other issues that might be going on that day. So that's one of the nice things about our managed endpoint, just frees you guys up to do other things. You know, look for that next, look for that next best thing to have us implement. So,
and Frank making new adjustments. You know, he has time to do that now.
I would say having like how many devices your team sees compared to how many I see. You guys can help us shape the future of what our deployments and our devices and our solutions look like.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. That's what we're here for, to help shape in. So is it going to this one now?
Yep,
Okay.
that's you.
So I guess I have a slide to talk about. So, you know, we've been working with the, no, it's just a blank slide up there. You got to go one more.
Does it?
There we go.
There we go. Sorry
There
about
we
that,
go.
guys.
It's the top slide, I guess, on the thing. So, you know, we've been working with Stanley Black & Decker on their iPad project here. And so while we were going through and doing this with them, Stanley said, hey, how do we like sell this or let's spread it to everybody. Let's more and more people because they were like, we know other people want to do this. So with that, we've been working with them to, again, we provide all the other services like iPads and things like that. And we just recently started bringing in so that we can resell the CribMaster solution from us versus having to go to another distributor. So we started getting that in there. And then as we were looking through these different, not just manufacturing, we were looking at different use cases. So kind of up here, I can't even read that one. So we've got like banking. We've had some of the people from our banking industry has reached out to us like, how can I do this in a bank? Or what would that look like? Or airlines, like how can I use this with an airline? Or just any kind of market that we're in, we're actually having our reps come to us and say, hey, what about this segment? We're like, yeah, sure. Why not? It should work in your segment. There should be no reason why it shouldn't be working in your segment. So, but the idea behind the solution that we've got here is we're trying to make it as turnkey as possible. Yes, you can buy all the little bits and parts and put it together yourself, but the idea, what we're trying to do is like, we're just going to sell you the solution. It's turnkey. We can just then drop ship the lockers with the iPads, the Jamf all set up, ready to go, so that you guys can just plug it in, turn on the iPad, and the people are ready to go and start to work. So that's kind of what we've done for this solution that we're providing.
All right.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'll add about the DevLock itself, the solution as a whole, is a lot of the concerns that we hear out of like our plant managers, who are really who we want to please with this solution, right? Is this whole solution checks all the boxes for them. We have access control with a badge controlled locker or PIN, right? We can ensure that folks have a privacy disclaimer on the background and a controlled and managed device, so they don't have to worry about people going rogue or using a personal device for work-related things. We can put the device into lost mode. Usually the number one issue that I hear from a plant manager or concern is, what if somebody steals it, right? So by purchasing through Insight, we get into, we're like registered at Apple, so even if someone were to actually physically steal the device from a location and take it to an Apple store, Apple would see that it belonged to Stanley Black & Decker, right? So we had been combating a lot of sort of like rogue device purchases that didn't work very well because they weren't supported by our IT teams. So for us to be able to provide this sort of seamless end-to-end answers all of your concerns, oh, and by the way, it shows up turnkey, has been really awesome lever for us to get buy-in in using these tools with our population. So just wanted to add that in.
Thank you. So that's the end of the presentation. What I would say is if you have questions about managed services at Insight or the CribMaster or anything that we're working on, please come see us at the booth. We do have one of the CribMaster lockers down there so that you can see how it works, and I'm sure Josh would love to show you guys how it works.
I think she's got some questions for the
Okay.
thing too.
Yep, go ahead.
Well, let's give them first one round of applause. Thank you very much. So you do have some questions, and I'll let you choose who's going to answer. So one says, how are the shared devices configured? Are you using guest mode or manage Apple IDs?
For this one, we're not using managed Apple IDs at all. We're relying on Jamf setup and reset as part of the workflow. There's not really, it says just the regular iPad setup where it's not really a user on it. It says there's just a profile there. We are working with Jamf, and they do have Microsoft, and we're testing the Microsoft Authenticator with the Jamf setup as SSO pieces. There's some issues with that, with the way Authenticator works and having to have that first shared account set up, which requires somebody to touch it if it gets erased. So those are some things we're working through. But today, right now, there's really not a user on the device. The employees have credentials that sign into the web services. That's how it kind of is today. I know they want to streamline it. It's just not there yet technically wise. So we're working through those. And Jamf has partnered with us and stuff. We're bringing in Microsoft. We're going through things. But it's a process we're doing.
I guess I'll add to we use a shared device model, right? So anyone can use any of these devices. And part of the reason for that is up until April of this year, none of our hourly employees, there's 30,000 of them around the world, had single sign-on accounts. They didn't have an identity in our system, right? So there really wasn't any way to provision them on a one-to-one basis. We've started rolling that out, but we still have some issues around stuff like multi-factor because our employees are locking their cell phones in a locker before they start their shift, right? So right now, it's logged in with like a generic profile, and then they authenticate at the app level, typically.
Thank you. Yes, is it okay if I bring the microphone to you?
So you mentioned Jamf Reset. So you're just using it to scrub the device before the next user. Mm-hmm. So is that automated, or did they actually go and hit the button in the application?
Yeah, so this is one of the really exciting things about owning the company that makes the product, the Devlock, right, is we actually worked with the product team to implement a setup and reset workflow that can be triggered from the Devlock screen itself.
Oh, that's cool.
So the employee can return the device as broken, which will trigger a setup and reset. And because it has a Mac Mini in it, it can do that all itself. We don't have to talk to IT, which is great because a lot of our sites don't even have on-site IT support, right? So you can trigger it, the user themselves can trigger it through the device, and while it's doing that, get a different device and keep it moving.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Another question. Is Insight a reseller for EMEA regions as well, Europe, Middle East, and Africa? How does Insight fare in the bidding process of those regions competitively, ensuring that contacted companies do not purchase from another reseller with a lesser price?
So yes, we have offices in EMEA. We have partners in EMEA as well. So like we have Insight UK and Insight Germany, which we sell within the EMEA area through those two companies. We have partners around the world in different countries. So like, for example, when Stanley wanted to procure in Mexico, we had partnered with one. They were using somebody else that wasn't really working that great. And so they've switched it over to our partner to have a better experience of purchasing Apple things. So you can reach out to us and we can give you who our partners in country are that we work with, that we recommend. And all of them that we work with are Apple Business Managers. We only work with ones that support Apple Business Manager. If Business Manager is supported in that country, we will find a partner to work with who is supported with Apple Business Manager. Because some countries don't have it, or the tiers have issues enrolling some stuff. So we really focus on that. But yes, we do support EMEA and Australia and China. And do we have Singapore office or something?
I don't think we do yet.
Yeah. We have somebody.
Okay, thank you. And one last one. Does Insight provide PO integration with Jamf?
Like purchase ordering for?
It
PO?
just says PO. I don't know if
PO,
somebody's
is that purchase
here
order
who
integration?
posted this question or if it was. Yeah, it is. Sorry, I'll repeat for the people that are not listening, cannot listen. It's purchase order.
Purchase order.
I don't.
So you want like the sales record into the attribute inside Jamf, the PO number. We probably could. We'd probably just work with you and use the Jamf APIs to integrate there. So we do a lot of integrations with a lot of different things. So like we integrate heavily with ServiceNow, and we do a lot of integrations. So we could probably figure it out. I don't think we do it right now. I don't think we do it right now for anybody, but if somebody wanted it, we would do it. We have a lot of people who, the biggest thing that comes through is ServiceNow integration. And then, so we're working with another company that uses ServiceNow, and they want all their information in ServiceNow, but then they use the Jamf ServiceNow connector to get all the stuff back and forth. So, but yeah, we can figure it out.
My team has automated quite a bit of things through Jamf and through scripting with the APIs to pull in information that us customers have asked for. We've never heard that one, but bring it on.
I have one question still here. I don't know if you posted that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, so GSX integration is a little bit different. Doesn't do the purchase order stuff.
Yeah.
So with GSX integration, we do not do that. We cannot do that. Even though we're an authorized Apple service provider, we cannot let people tie into our GSX. So are you education? Oh, okay. So GSX, we do get that a lot. Hey, can we just, because Apple's really limited GSX access now. You have to be a self-servicing provider to get GSX. And you have to repair X amount a year. So a lot of people say, hey, can we just tie into yours? No, we can't do that. So you'd have to become self-servicing for that kind of warranty information. Well, that's why, like with ServiceNow and our sales system and serial numbers, through different ways, we can get warranty information and feed it through ServiceNow. But like the GSX stuff, that's one thing we can't help with. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, if you're using ServiceNow, we can help you that way. Yeah.
And since we still have like a few minutes, I'm going to do one more question that was just posted. And it says, does Stanley Black & Decker federate manage Apple IDs that could be used for logging into a shared iPad model rather than using SSO with Microsoft Authenticator?
That's a good question.
They are not, but again, they didn't, just up until recently, their accounts didn't exist in Azure. So, I mean, we can look at it. We haven't done it, though. Yeah, that's something to think about. But manage Apple IDs on a shared iPad, while they work, there's only so many you can have on a device, and then they have to rotate on and off. So if that iPad is going between, I don't know, it could go through what, like how many people a day? 4 or 5 people a day, So that workflow is a little bit different than with using Jamf Setup or Reset as the mechanism in. But we can look at it. We just haven't done it because they didn't have those accounts in Azure until 6 months ago, something like that. Still working on it, yeah.
There's always somebody creative.
That's right.
But I'll just say that. So we use Apple Provision Utility as part of the thing, and sometimes the devices get wiped. So that can help clear off the stuff, and then the users can just authenticate with their managed Apple ID. And again, there would be no reason why not to turn it on and use it, but just for this, we're not using it.
Well, thank you very much. You took on all the questions and answered them all.
Perfect.
Well, thank you all for being here, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. A few more sessions before lunch, maybe one more. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.